Okay, what's up, guys? It's Hentai-Sama, and I'm here with a Diamond 1 Branded Despia profile, just to show off, how I'm liking the deck, my experiences with the deck, and what to expect, and just general opinions about it. I am new to the Despia archetype. Right now you see D-Link because I'm currently I just built it and I was just practicing it because I do want to learn Adventure Dragon Link. That's probably one of the most interesting decks that I've seen in the TCG that I actually want to play. And it has a lot of combo lines, some that can be memorized, but a lot of freeforming. And I like that because you have to like use your brain and it's very rewarding. But to the Despia profile on what I played. I'm gonna talk about the choices. So this is what got me Diamond Tier 1. I went through so many iterations with this list, things that I changed. Um, I I looked up because this is my first time playing with the deck. I played against the deck plenty of times because I played during the branded format when this was legal in the TCG and was one of the best decks. I looked up Shunsuke Hayama, the two-time world champion, his list, and he played Adventure Despia, and I tried that, and the deck is good, but Pure is far better. Pure is far better than the Adventure version. With this version, you have just so much gas, and in a mirror match, you can beat Adventure branded so easily because they just don't have the access to the other branded monsters like you do. They only play just the Tragedy, Albaz, Aluber, and Libitum. And the thing about it is that they have to choose between normal summon Aluber or activating right. So that puts them in a position where they need to at least hard draw branded opening just to get access to Aluber to branded fusion or hard open branded fusion. So it actually opens them to combos, and even if they do set up Griffin Rider with Mirror Jade, it is still breakable because that's just how much gas you have with the deck. So starting off, I played two tragedies. I was playing three. I felt like this card clogged a lot, and because it's a hard one per turn, I didn't feel like it was needed. So I just went with two. Um, Also, to gain a lot more insight with the deck, I had to like watch videos. So I watched Pack's first place YCS VIP Branded Despia list just to get an idea because you got to keep in mind that's the TCG, not Master Duel, and Master Duel has Maxi, and it's a best of one, while in the TCG, Maxi does not exist, and it's a best of two. So I, I I had to look at that list to gain some insight, and Joshua Schmidt's second place regional profile. I had to look at good players and just who talked about detail on their options, why they play things, how to play cards, the advantages of playing certain cards, advantages in the mirror. Because since this deck came out, everybody's playing Branded Despia. Like you're gonna go online, you're gonna see Despia, and I have to be able to beat the mirror. Not only beat other decks, I gotta be able to beat the mirror convincingly, and I beat the mirror. Like the mirror, the mirror is not that hard if you play correctly, you can beat the mirror. And the way this is, I think I can beat the mirror, and you can definitely just crush branded the adventure version of Despia. That one's easy. That's easy. Like you really shouldn't lose to adventure Despia. You have more chances of beating it with this version going first or second. Because I beat it going second easily because this deck just has way more gas than they do. So the two tragedies, I kind of hate Master Duel puts to the list. Three maxis, just go for going second. Three ash, hand traps. The edge and chain. I was I went to 2, but then I realized I need 3. It's a dark, and you can discard it and plus off of it. And I decided to cut the Frightfur patchwork to 2, just because I wanted to bring the card count a little bit lower, closer to 40 as possible. And I figured this was good. It's only hard once per turn. You can't, once you use it and you get another one, it's pretty much dead. The edge imp serves a purpose because it's a dark. One Fairy Tale Snow, I wasn't playing this at first, but then I added it to the deck. And Fairy Tale Snow is amazing because Fairy Tale Snow, the fact that you can trigger your Mercurier off of it and just banishing cards and putting cards face down is just really good, and it helps you dodge maybe an Imperm or Droplet because you can change Snow to banish. Very good. 3 Albaz. I went back and forth between 2 and 3 so many times. I felt like 3 was good because just going second. What I realized with the deck is you need to be able to go second against this deck. You have to be able to go second because they're not gonna let you resolve Branded Fusion. They're gonna try to make sure you do not resolve Branded Fusion as much as possible. So, I said to myself, what can I use to help me go first and second? And I said, play 3 Albaz. Because when you play Branded Fusion, right, depending on your hand, you go Lubellion. And Lubellion is good because you have to discard 1. And you can discard Edge Imp, trigger Tragedy, and you're just getting a lot of plus. And there's certain scenarios where you might not be able to Lubellion. You might have to Albion. And the thing with Albion is that Albion banishes. So you have to sacrifice 1 of your fallen Albaz. And when you're playing 3, sacrificing and 1 Albaz, it doesn't seem that hard of a decision because you can play with just 2 Albaz. So 3 Albaz is good, and going second, it can force a negate or a Mirror Jade if in the mirror or just anything. Fallen Albaz is good at 3. I think you should definitely play 3 Albaz. 3 Alubra standard because you gotta, the Stratos, you draw a card, you search, and it can come back and negate. Alubra is the heart and soul of the deck next to Albaz. Mercurier, I was not playing this originally while I was in Platinum. I decided to play it midway through Diamond because when it resolved against me, it sucked. When Mercurier resolved against me, it sucked a lot. So I figured, this is another hand trap you can use to negate something. You just gotta control a monster that messes Albaz. And also when it's banished, you can banish this off of your fusions or Snow. You can add Albaz or a card that mentions Albaz, so you can add Albion. Albion, I went from 1, then I went to 2, and I did like it at 2 because you play an extra one that you can ditch off of Allure, which I'm gonna get to. But again, I wanted to keep it close to 40, so I just went back to 1 and just said I'll just play with the 1 Albion. But you can play 2 because seeing Albion often, it just helps you make a plus. And then if you have extras, you can always just banish off Allure. Ad Libitum. Ad Libitum is amazing. Just being able to recur your Mirror Jade off of this. This is like literally your setup. You want to make sure you end on at least Mirror Jade with Branded Opening set and Ad Libitum in hand because it'll give you a banish on their turn if you haven't used it during your turn to search Branded in red. But it'll give you a banish on their turn and you can burn it in red. Target Tragedy in your graveyard because most of the time you have Tragedy. And you can either go for the Chimera play or Dragon Stapelia, and Ad Libitum will bring back Mirror Jade, giving you another banish, but you won't get the end phase destroyed because, keep in mind, Albaz says this fusion summon monster, and when it's brought back from Ad Libitum, it is not a fusion summon monster, but sometimes it's not even needed. So yeah, but Ad Libitum is good. 2 polys, you only need 2. this is why I feel like this is better than the branded version, because the branded version's only sense of fusion is through branded fusion and branded opening. But with poly, you have another way to get into your engine, either going masquerade or even mirror jade through poly, and that's also through fright fur. So when you start activating fright fur patchwork just to add the chimp and the imp and the poly, that's two cards out of your deck you're getting, and if you discard the edge imp, you get another card. So it helps you deck thin. It helps you deck thin just to make your life easier. Allure, same concept. It makes you deck thin and just makes your life easier. Playing time is going second. Like I would probably resolve like one or two, and they will not negate Allure Darkness. That's the thing in this format, because Branded's so popular. They will not negate your Fright for Patchwork, your Allures, things that searches. They won't even negate Allure. They'll hold the Ash strictly for the Branded Fusion. So you have to find a way to play around that. So sometimes if you can play around Ash and you have an Albaz in hand and that can lead in a combo, go for that, because 9 out of 10 they're holding Ash just for Branded Fusion. They just wait for that one card and do it, and you don't want to be in the Branded Fusion and Prey. And I was like that when I first played this deck, because again I didn't understand it that well. And before I added Allure, I was playing Foolish Burial, and Foolish Burial worked just to trigger Tragedy, but Allure, it helped me draw two. It helped me draw two and just binge a card I didn't need at all. Two patchworks, like I said, I cut it down. Three Branded Fusion, amazing. And then I played the Field Spell. I was on and off about this card too. What made me play this card was, this is another searchable poly that you can have in your deck in case you don't draw it, but you can use it and make Masquerade or something else. And one of the good effects that I didn't know, because I honestly I didn't read it, was the fact that if a fairy monster is control, you can target one level 8 or higher fusion monster and clear a special net. And this happened to me when I played a Branded Mirror match, where every time I kept attacking and Aluber came back out, and then if I killed the Aluber, he'd get a fusion, and it was just so annoying. I ended up winning that match, even though he was grinding with that, but having that recursion of just keep getting Aluber and getting a monster from the grave is really, really good, and it actually puts pressure on your opponent because they have to deal with this card, and if they don't, you can bring back Mirror J from the grave, Dragon Stapelia, pretty much anything. Branded Loss, I was not playing this card because I felt like in the TCG, a lot of people turned away from Branded Loss. They played it for a while, but because people played they played Ash, but they usually play that they played Bell, and Bell was really strong against Branded because Bell can stop Branded in red, and this card prevents their cards from the activations being negated, and Bell negates activations. So that's why I felt like they played it. But when I played it in this, it was really, really good. Just opening Branded Loss, it made you feel safe just because where it says your monsters can be negated. Also, your opponent can activate card's effect when a monster is fusion summoned this way. So if you put your toggle on and you go for Mirror Jade and you make Mirror Jade Chain Link 1, you can banish their Mirror Jade, and their Mirror Jade won't trigger because they can't activate. So those cool little interactions where your opponent can't respond, it's kind of like Meltdown, where people activate Meltdown and they'll make one of the fusions, and then they can just priority and pop your monster, and you can't activate nothing because you're still under Meltdown. Same thing as Branded Loss, and also it lets you search for a card that mentions Albaz. So it's another way to either get to Albaz, get to Mercurier, or Albion. Most of the time, I try to search Mercurier as fast as possible because it's an extra interruption, which is really, really good. Super Poly, self-explanatory. It's cracked against the mirror. You use it. You're pretty much in a winning position. Call by just to negate Ash, Maxi, anything that's annoying. Didn't play cross out. I was playing cross out. Took out cross out. You can make the argument to play cross out, especially when you know you're gonna play more branded Despia than anything else. That cross out can be good. Two droplets. I added two droplets. This used to be imperm. I was playing three imperm. Imperm as a hand trap to interrupt them on their turn. Imperm was not enough. Imperm only stopped one card. And a monster with a negate like Baron, because this deck's hardest matchups are against Tenyi Adventure and Sword Soul. Because Sword Soul and them are now playing Protos. And Protos is an FTK against your deck because they're just called Dark and you pretty much lose. And you can't really do anything about it, unfortunately, because they just have enough just to kill you. So Droplet can help you break a board. It's good against Flunder. Flunder is really annoying. It's also the same thing. It FTKs you with Statue and Empin, and they already have Dreaming Town set, and they have map. So they most likely will have map, but even if they don't, just the Dreaming Town's enough. Because they threaten your board, because you cannot special summon. All they gotta do is just deal with your normal summon, and you pretty much lose. So if you have the Droplet, it can help you in that matchup. And it's very good. I just picked the two because I didn't want to clog. Just wanted to try to keep it close to 40 as possible. Three openings. This is the card today. You can kind of just discard if you don't need it, but it's also a card that you can discard Agent Change to plus or Tragedy to plus, and it's not a cost, which is good because they don't get a free discard off of it, where they can just ash and then you just like fuck, my card got negated. You activate it and they have to respond. They usually never negate opening because it's kind of no reason to, and if they do, then they're just really bad at the game. And the protection effect from it is really good. When you're in the mirror match and they have Mirror Jade and you got rid of their Mirror Jade, it helps. Branded opening, this is going to be your follow-up. You target Tragedy, Albaz, whatever card, and you would either go into Dragon Stapillia or Chimera just to deal with their board. Two, I didn't want to play three because it can clog. Sometimes I found the card dead, and sometimes I open this card and I just couldn't activate it, and it was just dead, and it was just a card just a set. So I just feel like two was just a good number, and I was back and forth on 3 and 2, and I just think 2 is just fine. Extra deck, 1-starring Venom for the mirror match or any darks. Dragon Stapillia, same thing. Titaniclad. This card is rarely summoned, but it's a card you can use that can get over monsters that are higher than it. Is what I use when I go against Numeron, because I fought a good amount of Numeron and I actually beat majority of them. Only lost to one Numeron. And the good thing is that the way this version plays, which is why it's better than the Adventure version, they can't kill you with 4 monsters at 8,000. It'll just be hard. You're more than likely gonna have 2 monsters. Even if you have Mirror Jade, that's 2 attacks they gotta waste. And the third one will pop it. Aluber will come out, negating the monster, and then that last monster will attack that. Pretty much saves yourself. So Titaniclad, I'll make that 41 just to do damage because they will summon Megaclops, and that'll be the hardest card to get rid of. But that's also why I'm playing Droplet, just to deal with Megaclops or anything I can't deal with. But yeah, you can choose not to play Titaniclad. You can make the argument not to. The Glory Dragon, I was not playing this card. I remember this card, and I just forgot what it did. But then, when I reread it, and the fact that you can add a Tri-Brigade monster or a Fallen Albaz or special summon it, you get the option of both. You get to search Tri-Brigade Mercuria, and I think that was really good because it was a way to just search either Interruption, or you can search Fallen of Albaz for a board breaker or something like that. Albion. I was playing 3. I wanted 2. Now I realize I didn't need 3. 2 was perfectly just fine. You don't make this card that much. You make it rarely, but it's mainly fodder from Mirror Jade. Quarterless didn't make it that much, but it was a one matchup against an Eldritch player where this put up so much work. It put up so much work just because I was under rivalry, and the fact that he can summon Golden Lord at 35, I could just make it 0. And this card was pretty good in that matchup. Masquerade, oh, this card can be a pain for anyone because that's 600. There are certain decks that cannot play through this. If you end on 2 against Flunder, they pretty much lose because they're paid too much life. And you can actually make a board of double Mirror Jade with, I mean not double Mirror Jade, double Masquerade with Mirror Jade, and that's pretty much a GG's if they don't have like Super Poly or something. So Masquerade is really good. The fact that it can just come back from the grave as a body, which is good because they can just pop it, hit, they can pop it, a looper comes out, and then you can special summon it as a follow-up if you choose to. Mirror Jade, Heart and Soul, broken card, non-targeting banish, and a field wipe. Very, very, very good boss monster. Lubellion, you only need 1. You don't need to play 2. You're going for this more than often, and you kind of want to make sure you always have access to this. So make sure you always bring it back and just try to keep access to this card without losing it. Chimera, be shocking enough, I didn't go to this that much unless I had to. Most people would stop me, but I went into this card when I needed to. And it was really, really good. That pop. This one right here, Pro Skinion, didn't go to it, but it helped me in a matchup where I super polyed my opponent, and he had nothing. So once I super polyed his whole board, he just scooped. Because it literally was my monster and 2 of his monsters. He didn't have nothing. And he scooped. Okay, so that's the deck profile. Now, thoughts on the deck. Despia is not the best deck. It's not the best deck. It's a very strong deck. It's a very strong deck. It could be because of different formats and the best of 1, which I do think. Because if you go against Flunder or Tenyi Adventure, they can just make you just not play and just lose going second. Even if you have plays, they just have enough interruptions just to stop you. What else? This deck is not a monkey deck, so you cannot be brain dead. You actually have to put a lot of thought. There were a lot of times where I was thinking my plans and my strategy just to come up with a way just to out the opponent's board or go for a game. You can make a lot of misplays in this deck just because there are small details in cards effects that you can miss. Like I was missing that ad libitum can only use that effect if it uses fusion material from the hand or I believe field? Hand or field, right? Yep, hand or field. So it doesn't work in the graveyard, and I did not know that. And it cost me a lot of matches because I just didn't read that. But the deck is really, really strong. I think once, like maybe like a week or 2, this deck is gonna die down a bit, and people are not gonna play as much, especially if everyone's gonna be siding something into it for the matchup, maybe D barrier or Super Poly. But I just wanted to see if I can make Diamond 1 with this deck. I don't normally play tier 1 decks. I usually just play whatever I feel like playing, a casual fun deck, but that's competitive, so that way it can give me a chance to win. But I chose this deck. But yeah, I don't think I have any more things to say. I mean, try the deck out, tell me what you think about it, and subscribe, give me a like. It helps the algorithm, help a brother out. I'm just starting my YouTube channel, and before that, guys, I will say goodbye. See you next time.